Hey guys, Games for Life here. Today's episode is a little bit different. Today I'm gonna show you Astroneer's top 3 planets for beginners. I think I titled the video something like planets that are better than Earth, and that's true, so don't call that clickbait, alright? So talking about Earth, the first planet logically is Silva, so let's head to it. If you didn't know, in Astroneer, Silva is the equivalent to our Earth, and instead of the moon we have the Solo, Silva's moon. Let's land in a random spot. Right here, for example. There we go. Oh, and we have a rover. Good thing I brought 2 more. Yeah, this is Silva. It's the starting planet for the base game. This is where you'll start your Astroneer adventure. Not a lot of dangers regarding the beginner player. And here's where you'll first see these gates. You'll need to activate these to complete the game, but that's a story for another time. I've just opened the Astropedia to look at Silva. Here we have its notable resources. So Silva's caves are full of sphelerite, you'll see it everywhere. And the mountains are full of malachite, which is basically copper. You'll need that a lot for solar panels, etc. It only has 2 gases, which is a bit of a disadvantage, but that's okay considering it's the starting planet. So we've got hydrogen and nitrogen here. Its description is pretty average. Average atmosphere, temperate, pleasant. Hazards are on easy, which means you won't get killed by plants every other step, like on Aatrox. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you know I love Aatrox. It's actually my favorite planet. I love dying there. It's my favorite thing to do in my spare time. Yeah, dying on Aatrox. Okay, let's move on. For power, we've got medium for both sun and wind, which is pretty meh, you know? That's how I would describe it. Meh. We'll take a look at multiple planets here in a minute, but for now let's get a feel of how Silva looks and functions. So it's full of resources all over the surface. This is in order to help beginner players, and we're out of energy. This is awesome. I brought some cutie RTGs with me, which should help us in that regard. Okay, so I think you got it. This is Silva, you know Silva, of course you do. We should head on to the next planet, but first let me show you my first base in Astroneer, on this save of course, which is right here on Silva. So we'll take the shuttle there, we'll launch into orbit. Look at how beautiful it is. No, for real, it's a really beautiful planet. It's just meh, but you know, still beautiful. So where's our base? I think this is it. There's a landing pad there and everything. Yeah, this is the base. Being the first base on this save, it's not really that big. It doesn't even have a lot of the necessities of a base in Astroneer, but it's got some resources, which is pretty nice. I'm just thinking about raiding my own base. So for any beginners, your base probably looks something like this, and there's no shame in it. You'll eventually grow it. The second planet on my top 3 Astroneer planets list is Novus. This is not actually a planet, it's actually Vesania's moon, but for the purposes of this video, we'll consider it a planet. And here we are. This is Novus. I don't remember if we've got a base here or not. Let's look for it. I think over there. Yeah, that was it. We'll wait for it to come around. And I've actually forgot how my base on Novus looks. So, let's see. Okay, this is a little bit bigger. So, for all intents and purposes, this is a medium-sized base. You can see all of these used solid fuel thrusters over here from when I didn't know how to create hydrazine. But that's a story for another time. Like, for real, I'm really dumb sometimes. Some of you might know. And there are some floating things over here. This is weird, or at least distressing. We'll ignore those for a moment. Let's see what mode of transportation we have on Novus here. It looks like nothing. So I'll set up a large rover, just like that. I've also brought seats with me. You didn't think I'd come this prepared, did you? Oh, and we also need power. So this is Novus. You can see it's really colorful. a lot of purples and blues. So for those of you decorating a base who need these kind of colors, Novus is the place. There's tons of ammonium over here, and these really creepy forest-like biomes. I've actually dug up quite a bit over here, but don't mind that. Novus is actually a pretty big moon, it's actually bigger than the Solo. That's why we'll call it a planet for now. And it's also, just like Silva, full of resources, as you can see. And it's beginner friendly most of the time, except for these plants which will try to kill you. And the geysers which will try to kill you, but those are pretty easy to avoid. Unlike the plants on Aatrox. Again, I love Aatrox. I just love it, yeah. Okay, I leave the rover sitting precariously on this ridge in order to look at the Astropedia. So let's see, Novus. It's got hematite in the caves and lithium in the mountains. This is a really important thing. You'll need lithium for batteries all throughout the game, and this is the easiest place to find it, on Novus in the mountains. So there you go. If you were wondering how to get lithium, then here's your answer. Yeah, I know, you're welcome. It's got hydrogen and methane, which is again meh, but it's good. We've got a thin atmosphere, it's forested and cratered, which you already saw, it's full of craters, so traversal is a little bit tricky, but you can get around that with trains. So for Novus, the best mode of transportation is by train, in my opinion, at least. Hazards are on medium, which means you won't really die as a beginner. You will die sometimes, maybe. Depends on how dumb you are. No, I was dumb when I first came to Novus, I died a bit. But you get used to it. No, not to dying, to Novus, I mean, you also get used to dying. Yeah, so power is on high, all the power, sun, wind, everything is on high. This makes it perfect for building mega bases and mega structures. You can build whatever you want and you'll have the power you need because of this. Actually, this is the main reason, this and lithium. These are the main reasons I picked Novus as one of the top 3 Astroneer planets for beginners. And you can also see Fesania from it, which makes great screenshots. Actually, let me take one, just like that. Awesome. Let's head back to the shuttle. I forgot where the shuttle was. It's that way, apparently. We'll head back to the shuttle and on to our third and last planet. I'll add some hydrazine, so we don't get stuck somewhere. And let's head on to the last one, which is of course Calidor. If you've been watching my channel, you know almost all of my videos take place on Calidor because that's where my big base is. I really enjoy this planet and it's actually pretty good for beginners too. Here's the base. We'll land and I'll show you everything you need to know about Calidor. Now this looks a little bit more advanced, doesn't it? I mean, apart from the diamond farm, which I kind of broke. But yeah, you should actually watch that video. It was pretty cool. So yeah, this is what you're used to from my videos. This is where all the things take place. This is my base. My main base, I mean. I'll take you on a rover trip through Calidor. Actually, let's take the train. Yeah, we can do that here. Oh, how nice. Enjoy the roller coaster while I talk to you about Calidor. So this is actually my favorite planet. It's not Aatrox. Maybe you thought Aatrox was my favorite planet, but it's not. You'll probably come to Calidor somewhere around the time you realize you want to blow stuff up, because you'll need dynamite for that. You might need exochips, so you want to blow the caches up, and you'll see that you can get sulfur from either Calidor or Aatrox. And please take my advice and don't go to Aatrox until you're ready for it. So a lot of beginners who just want to blow stuff up will come to Calidor. This is one of the main reasons it's a good planet for beginners, especially for beginners who like blowing stuff up. I don't know how many times I said blow stuff up in this part of the video, but I'm guessing it's a lot. Also, it's really easy to get power from the sun here on Calidor, as it is the former arid planet. If you've been playing Astroneer for a long time, like I did, in 2018 for example, Calidor was actually named arid. and it still keeps that name in its description. It's an arid planet, which means it's sun blasted and dry, which in turn means that you'll get a ton of power from solar panels. Wind is on low, so I don't recommend using wind turbines on here, but you'll get a ton of power from solar panels. Actually, let me show you my solar array farm, where I get all the power for the base. This is what powers the whole base, so we've got 100 of these medium solar panels and 4 of the large ones, or extra large, or whatever they are called. No, I think these are the large ones. The extra large ones are actually smaller than these. I don't understand why or how. You've probably seen my video where I crafted 100 of these and placed each and every one of them and then unpacked each and every one of them. If you haven't, then go check it out if you want to see me suffer for a couple hours. It really did take a lot. But yeah, solar power on Calidor is, for lack of better words, overpowered. You can find malachite and wolframite on Calidor. Thank God you can find malachite, because you'll need it for solar panels. You can find hydrogen and sulfur. As I said, you'll come here mainly for sulfur in order to create dynamite and blow stuff up. I love blowing stuff up, honestly. It's one of the most beautiful things in life. Yeah, I think I'm a little bit deranged in that regard. It doesn't matter, though, so its description is average atmosphere, sun blasted and dry, which basically tells you how important solar panels are here. Hazards are on medium, just like on Novus, so you won't really die a lot. And power for sun is very high and for wind is low. I've already covered this. You need solar panels basically. Okay, let me check my notes for the video. I have the outline on my phone so I don't forget about stuff, because I usually forget about stuff. You're probably used to it. Okay, it says here that I need to rank these 3 planets in order of which I think are most useful for beginners. So, considering that, let me get into a neutral position so I can place these on screen as text as well. Yeah, this looks fine. Okay, in my personal opinion, number 1 should definitely be Calidor. This is the one I chose for building my base, which I will continue to expand until I get extremely bored, and I'll start a new save then. But until that point, I'll always be on Calidor, so that's my number 1 pick. Then I'd say Silva would come in second, mainly because its hazards are on low. You can't really die except for fall damage. That's the only thing that can kill you on Silva, and it's actually the easiest place to activate all of the gates. It's a pretty big planet though, so you'll need a rover to get around. And then in at number 3 comes Novus, Vesania's moon. Basically because it looks cool and it's helpful. You can get a lot of power on it, you can build large bases, large structures, and it doesn't punish you like some other planets do. So these are my top 3 Astroneer planets for beginners. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing to my channel so you don't miss any of my future content. And also watch the video that appears on screen right here. I've actually let YouTube choose it for you, so it's probably good. Yeah, I trust them. Anyway, I've been Games for Life, and I'll see you next time. Cheers, Astroneers!